welcome to another episode of Hard Factor, presented by Barstool News Network. It is Florida Man Friday, January 10th, 2020, and the order's going to be Mark, Wes, Pat, and then myself. Mark, get us going.
All right, we're going into it. 47-year-old Florida man, Christian Mosco's favorite movie is most likely Catch Me If You Can.
Love that movie.
Yeah,
Frank Abernathy.
Right, he's got good taste.
Abagnale.
We'll get to it.
Abagnale.
Yeah,
I don't like
Abagnale.
to toss out other pods on this pod, but there's no risk for competition. The AARP, the retirement magazine, does a great pod about scams, and Frank Abagnale is the host. It's great.
Well, he's going to be mentioned correctly
Big guy. Smart guy.
at the end of this. Moscow.
Abagnale's in the podcast game?
Yeah, bro. For the olds. It's
Yeah,
for the
we'll
olds.
get to it.
I'm surprised he
Let's
hasn't
circle back, though.
overtaken. I'm surprised he's not number one.
He's making millions of dollars a year.
He's an FBI consultant.
Well,
That guy gets
Christ's
results.
I know a lot about the
That
guy.
guy gets
I wanna
results.
talk
Have you
about
seen
him.
Catch Me
I'm
If You
gonna talk
Can?
about the story.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm going to mention he's an FBI consultant. Jesus.
Oh, okay. So you get to the. Okay, sorry.
Moscow, the 47-year-old Florida man who likes Catch Me If You Can, you fucking pricks, was charged with trying to extort a car and $50,000 cash from a Glen Ritchie Chevrolet dealership in Daytona, Florida.
Okay.
So how did he do that? Well, he told them he had obtained all of their 2002 to 2004 customer sales information, and he emailed them and said, I've got all of your customers' birthdays and social security numbers, and I will release all the information unless you give me my money in the car I want.
So, okay, I'm thinking here, how experienced is this guy as a scammer? Because I don't see any way out of this for him. But maybe he knows something I don't.
Well, what if he has all the information?
Yeah, but even if he does, they're still gonna fuck. It's like when someone's like, "I'm robbing a bank," and they're like, "I want a helicopter."
You gotta
Well,
let the story flow, man.
they
Alright,
might not
right,
want to
that's
get
exciting.
caught.
You got to let the story flow. An assistant at the Ritchie dealership agreed that he had him by the balls. So he said, he
Right.
emailed him back and said, "We'll make the exchange. You just got to meet us up here."
I think. Mark. I was thinking to myself. I was like, if I'm working at that car dealership, I'm doing whatever I can to get rid of this. So I'm
Right.
just gonna give him the car.
So he said, "Meet me up here."
I was gonna say it's impressive that they even gave a shit that he had like the customer's information. There, that's
Yes.
some good quality customer service by Glen Ritchie Chevrolet of Dayton.
That's right. But they'd also forwarded all the emails to the cops. So when Moscow arrived, he was arrested. And when he met up to the meet spot, so it wasn't the assistant with cash
saying.
in the
He's an
car.
idiot.
It wasn't a briefcase in the car. It was the cops, and they arrested him and charged him with burglary, petty theft, and extortion. But like any good, ambitious, creative con man, Moscow didn't just tuck tail and accept his fate. He, of course, tried to avoid incarceration by posing as multiple federal prosecutors. you see, he allegedly stole the names in Florida bar IDs, ID numbers of two assistant state attorneys, Danielle Fields and Andrew Urbanak. And with that information, he created a fake email account and then filed 2 announcements of no information through the city's e-filing portal to the judicial department, which I guess basically is like a way to dismiss a case. Like they didn't have enough information.
This guy is like Rudy of scams.
Yeah.
He never gives up.
This is a lot of misguided genius on
Right,
this guy.
right. So a clerk caught him though, because since the state already made an announcement of information by charging him, he should have filed a null prosi. So sorry, our intern Cam, that's in law. Tell me how to pronounce that. But basically, had he filed the null prosi because he was so close.
Oh, speaking of, also Hardo
they
Hive
would have canceled
lawyer.
it. What's that?
Hardo Hive's training to be a lawyer.
Love
There
that.
you go.
A lot of reps.
So he was so close. He filed the announcement of no information.
He
but
should have stayed in law
They
school.
already had announcements of no information. Had he filed the null prosi, it would have been completely removed from record, and he would have been fine. But a clerk was like, "Wait a minute! They filed announcements of information. Now they're not filing announcements of information." So he caught on. And guess what? Moscow is now charged with an additional 7 felonies because of this. And if he were to get the maximum sentence for all the felonies, which he probably won't, he would be facing 50 years in jail.
I'm wondering how he's walking around now, because it's like you don't just wake up one morning and decide to con a car dealership and then expunge your charges by impersonating a district attorney.
Yeah.
He's probably been doing this a while.
This guy's got
He's
big
tricky.
dreams.
He's tricky. He's got some tricks up his sleeve. But unlike Frank Abagnale, who is the real-life con mastermind from Catch Me If You Can, this story will not end with the FBI asking Moscow to work for them
It's true.
instead of serving his prison sentence. So
That's what happened.
thanks.
Let me tell you about this guy, Frank Abagnale.
Yeah, he's pretty good, right? I mean,
Yeah. But you know what's going to happen, though? This will happen. Moscow will be pulling shitty cons in the clink for so many packs of cigarettes. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to be getting anything he wants in the clink.
He's going to own that place.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about To Catch
Except
Me
for
If You Can?
fresh air.
Well, it's Abernathy. I think he works for the FBI.
No, this guy. No, like I was
Was a
saying at the
typewriter.
beginning, like I wasn't. I got kind of
Yeah,
caught
we're done
red-handed
with the
there.
story. We're done with the
This guy could con me easily.
I watched that movie.
We know you have a mob mentality. You were willing to negotiate with the mob.
No, this
You-
guy
if you were
could
a
have conned me
shopkeep-
easily.
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
This guy.
Yeah.
No, he created email accounts with the bar IDs and the names as their names from the fucking through the state portal. Like he
Clever
he
girl.
almost had it.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. All right, guys. 'Twas the night before Christmas. Went all through the trailer. Not a creature was stirring. Not even a gator. A Florida man was nestled, all drunk in his bed, with visions of whores dancing in his head.
This is awesome.
When down by his toes, there arose such a feeling. He sprung up in bed to find a psycho was kneeling and going to fucking town on his toes. And that's not just a poem.
What do you mean, town?
This guy was sucking on some dude's toes on Christmas Eve.
We all celebrate in different ways.
All right, that's not just a poem. That was reality for one Florida man in Manatee County this past Christmas Eve. Yeah, so yeah. You guys following me?
Yeah.
It was
So
an
yeah.
awesome poem.
So yeah. Yeah. I'm following
Need a
you.
moment?
No, I'm good. I need a little chatter to move to transition.
Yeah, we get it.
Okay,
Oh
cool.
my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
So this guy woke up to a guy sucking on his toes.
That's awful.
That's right. Yeah. So after this
In a
poor bastard
trailer.
woke up into his nightmare to find someone had broken into his house with the sole purpose of sucking his toes on Christmas Eve, the man thought he was being robbed and told the toe sucker he didn't have any money, to which the toe sucker replied,
I don't care.
Yeah, he wasn't there for his money. He was just there to suck some toe.
Well, he was kind of robbing
You
him in a
got
way.
10 little piggies.
Yeah. He was robbing him of
He went to the piggy bank.
a lot of sleep in the future.
Yeah.
Um,
Robbing of his dignity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So upon realizing the man was dealing with a mentally deranged person capable of anything, he attacked him, forcing him out the front door where the two demonstrated the classic Florida dance called Two Shirtless Men Fighting in the Front Lawn at 3 a.m.
Right.
And the toe sucker wasn't as meek as you might expect and fought with
shit.
the man valiantly, informing the victim he had a gun and also trying to fondle his genitals at the same time.
He's a lot like the guy in the first one. He's a lot like the guy in the first story. He doesn't know when to give up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna brazenly break into someone's house and suck their toes, you have to be ready for confrontation.
You're ready. You got to be ready to escalate
Yeah.
it.
Do we know anything about the victim's toes? Was he stalking his toes?
No.
How did he choose him?
Well,
He only goes for webbed feet.
yeah. So very smartly, the man wants to remain anonymous because he doesn't want to be known as the guy who got his toes sucked on Christmas Eve.
Imagine if you that's terrible to wake up, but imagine how more terrible it would have been if he woke up and had an erection.
Yeah.
That'd been a very
I mean,
confusing erection.
it could be.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure he did.
So the nameless victim was finally able to escape inside.
They both were fighting outside of 3M with an erection. The one guy because of the accidental one. He's like,
Raging.
It's working.
Raging hard on.
It's working. So the nameless victim was finally able to escape inside to call police, and before fleeing into the Florida night, the toe sucker broke out the man's house window and stomped in his windshield.
Wow.
And when police showed up, all that remained was one very in shock victim. They tried to track down the toe sucker with dogs, but he likely took to the surrounding waters to throw off the scent, finding his way back to his base through the night by moonlight, frustrated and unsatisfied.
what a story.
There's a 10th grade English teacher
You think he
somewhere that's
stole
like, I knew this would happen.
Yeah. You think he stole a pair of sandals? Shoes?
Probably.
I think so.
Well, what they tried to, they took some DNA off the man's toes too, so they could test him if they found.
Oh,
out.
no way.
They were like, sir.
Trying to get the saliva.
Yeah.
They're like, sir, there's 3 pairs of saliva on your toes. He's
Yeah.
like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, and also like the toe sucker, you imagine if you woke up and somebody was sucking your toes, you'd think they'd be like a non-violent person. It was very surprising, Wes, when you said that he
I
was
would treat
fought to
them
the
as
end.
a very violent person.
They're kind of doing you a kindness, depending on your kinks.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So the state of Florida is so prolific at creating insane stories that sometimes it's hard to catch all the good ones. And we're here at Hard Factor working around the clock in Bermuda shorts, monitoring the vital signs of Florida. But sometimes we miss a good one. So this one's from a couple weeks ago, but it's
That's
important.
okay.
It's
That's
important,
okay.
so we're covering it. So all right, let me ask you guys this first: have you guys ever taken the party drug Molly?
Yes.
Taking ecstasy.
Yeah, same thing,
Yes,
right?
once
Yeah.
Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, huh?
Well, MDMA specifically.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's what the kids are taking these days.
Yes,
Well,
not ecstasy.
the reason it's called a
That's what
party
the kids
drug,
have been taking for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the 90s it was ecstasy. Well, that's Wes's.
Yes, which I missed out on.
Yes.
Early 2000s.
Wes will tell us about that someday. The reason
Well,
I
I've
call it
done my
party drug
share.
is because it's one that's usually best enjoyed with others in a tight social setting. So it makes sense that when 36-year-old Keith Thurston, Florida man, was ingested a very large dose of MDMA a couple weeks ago, that once the rolls started kicking in, he wanted to be around his friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, a desire that would eventually leave him stranded and alone in a fountain in the middle of Lake Enola in Orlando.
He had a bunch of friends that swam.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. See?
You mean to ruin your story?
No, you could. Do you know it?
Lake Enola is located about 30
It
miles
was,
north
it
of
was Frank
Orlando.
Abagnale.
You guys see, Keith finds himself most comfortable around a very chill group of friends that happen to be made up entirely of swans, the bird. Now, these are the type of swans.
He hates them when they're geese.
Yo, he loves swans, not a geese guy.
Interesting.
These are the type of swans that never get on Keith's ass for things like taking way too much Molly all the time or not having a fixed address.
But swans, believe it or not, are some of the most aggressive birds. So this is
Yeah,
very
just like
surprising.
Look, I don't know Keith, but he feels at home with them, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
maybe
an
he's cool
unorthodox decision.
Well, look, in an effort to join his bevy, who were just kicking in the middle of Lake Enola, he needed some way to get there, so he stole a boat, which also happened to be a swan.
A swan boat?
Stole a swan boat to
That's
get to the
awesome.
swans. But when he got to the swan party, he was so excited to chat it up and relax that he forgot to tie up his swan boat. Uh-oh. And when the swans decided to take the party elsewhere, Thurston wasn't able to tag along because of his inability to fly.
The swans didn't swim him to shore?
No, they left him there high on MDMA.
When you find out that swans will accept you as their own and you can chill with them, that's one of the most safest places you can be.
Right.
That's the only place I'd be.
Yeah.
Until the party takes off. So after a couple hours alone in the fountain, with the Molly wearing off, Keith began screaming at the top of his lungs for help, which eventually led to him being rescued by police. And when the cops asked Keith why he was in the fountain, he explained that he wanted to commune with the swans because they, quote, didn't judge him. So something we could all relate to.
That's awesome. And do
Let's
this
get
one,
it-
No, do this one next.
Okay.
I specifically wrote you in for next. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll see. Who's up next? Me?
Wait,
it me?
no, I am.
well.
Wait, what's going on? Is
Nothing. Pat's going to do this one next.
Which one?
there this one?
So
The
keep going.
predict-
Keep
So
the
keep
show
going. Keep going.
So I should
Oh,
do
gotcha.
this
Got-
the
yeah.
next story.
Yes.
Okay.
Next
Well, I mean, yeah, good for the MDMA guy.
Yeah.
You know. Okay. Yeah. Moving along. A woman in Florida whose mugshot would haunt the souls of young virgin boys who laid eyes upon this mugshot. I mean, it is sexual. She's been arrested for her unrelenting fixation on McDonald's dipping sauce.
She's horny for the sauce.
McGuire Marie McLaughlin, 19, and by bisexual I meant like her eyes. Something very, very like psychotic about her eyes.
Nothing wrong with sexualizing a mugshot, Will.
Like
Which sauce?
psychotic sexual energy. Anyways,
The eyes tell a lot.
yeah, she was denied condiments at McDonald's in Vero Beach around 4 a.m. New Year's Day after asking for every single flavor of sauce they offer, one packet.
That's normal. One of every. She's fickle.
You're entitled to that.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes.
At Chick-fil-A, they'll do it for you.
Are you? Well, they didn't do it at McDonald's. They told her it was 25 cents a piece. She was not happy. When officers arrived on the scene, she was
I wouldn't be
screaming. Yeah, you were with her. You're with McGuire here. By the way, McGuire McLaughlin, that's her name. That's tough. She was screaming obscenities and claiming that she would claim her dipping sauce, quote, by any means necessary. It was unclear what that meant, but it was clear that it did not include any means necessary, paying 25 cents each for the dipping sauce.
Yeah, except for paying for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Outside of what you're asking for.
What
yeah,
is she, the wish?
by any means
What is she, the
necessary.
wish master? She's like, what's your worst fear?
Exactly. She can't make it all happen. All right. So McGuire was trying to be reasonable, but she wasn't going to pay. That was just not on the table. So the police took her in and said she had to actually be put in mechanical restraints because she was locking her legs and refusing to walk. So I guess it's like the opposite of what Portnoy did at the Super Bowl. You know, he did like the limp leg, drag leg. She was doing like the lock your legs straight and then they can't move you.
She was pulling her human emergency brake is what she was doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, that didn't. She's in jail, or no, she got out. She posted bond.
She got out. Great.
No, she's out.
No, she's out.
I think Will got distracted by how hot this chick was.
Hanging
Apparently,
with the
Crazy.
toast.
No.
Crazy
By the way,
girl.
not hot. What I meant was like there was like a haunting sexual energy about this mugshot.
we know what you meant.
You'd have to look at it. All right, number
She wasn't hot
two.
enough to get the fucking
Haunting
sauces.
sexual energy.
Yeah, that you got to see it. It's like it's a mugshot that screams like I'm crazy, but I probably give a great blowjob.
There you go.
Let's put it on the blog.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, number two, another fast food one. A woman in Riverview, Florida, with a lot of time on her hands, is selling a chicken nugget from Culver's that is roughly shaped like a manatee for $5,000 on the internet.
Sounds like every chicken nugget, pretty much.
Right.
It looks like all chicken nuggets.
Except it's got two little pieces that like branch
Right,
off.
so it's a disgusting chicken nugget.
Yep.
So it's a chicken nugget they didn't trim.
yeah.
It got through the
Yeah.
quality control check. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucked up chicken nugget. Quote, I saw the tender at the bottom of the bag, went to my coworkers and said, this looks like a manatee. Doesn't it look like a manatee? And everybody agreed, unquote, said Melinda Britt, who got the tender after placing an order for lunch. She says she's just playing, though. She doesn't really want to sell it for $5,000. Why would I want to do that? I just want to raise awareness for the manatees, okay? That's what she's doing.
She's only one layer dumber than us because we think we're gonna make $5,000 on stupid shit all the time. She's just barely stupider than us.
Yeah, we would probably do something like this. We would try to give our raise awareness for somebody by trying to profit off their likeness through a food product that got shit out of a pipe.
Well, we used to send
in
each
a
other
factory.
pictures of our own poop.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
True.
Let's move on.
All right,
my
I think
turn.
that's back to
All
Mark.
right, fine.
I remember that.
What would you guys do if you hear someone screaming, "Let me out! Oh, let me out!" over and over again?
I'd
be
probably
freaked
let her
out.
out.
Yeah, probably go see if I could help her out.
Exactly. I'll tell you what the guy who called the cops on his knockoff Roomba would do. He would have called the cops while hightailing it out of that area as quick as possible. But you'd probably try to help her out or call
Probably.
the cops. So what happened was the cops were called to the property in Lake Worth, Florida. And when the Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputies pulled up, they questioned a confused man who was repairing a car in his driveway. And here's what he said. I was changing the brakes on my wife's car, and sometime later, 4 police officers showed up saying a neighbor called because she heard a woman screaming for help. And he's remaining anonymous, the anonymous homeowner said. I promptly introduced the officers to Rambo. Rambo is his pet parrot. And we all had a good laugh afterward because it was Rambo that was screaming, "Let me out." I also introduced Rambo to the neighbor who called in the screaming, and she too had a good laugh.
How is this funny? Parrots are mimics.
Right.
Right.
Who the fuck was screaming?
He
"Let me out"
he
this
watches a lot of
No.
horror movies.
That's a good point, Pat.
He
So
watches a lot of horror movies.
Apparently, the
week?
man.
The cops are just like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, they should have checked his
Parrots
attic,
yelling,
his closet,
"Stop murdering me!"
his basement. But apparently, Pat, good question. The man taught Rambo to scream "Let me out" when he's in his cage as a gag, probably for the exact reaction that happened. So that guy got.
He's
his
been
big
wanting
payoff.
this his whole life.
Right. That guy. got
This
his
guy
big
was
payoff.
so fucking happy.
Right. So it's one of two.
You just
it's
pretend
either
working
that
on
or
his car every day
Either that
waiting
or,
for the
or the
cops to
parrot's
show.
seen atrocities. It's one of the two. It's clearly one of the two. Also, parrots live way too fucking long because Rambo is 40. He should be screaming, "Let me die!" Nothing that small should live that long.
They live to like 100, don't they?
It's ridiculous.
You got to
too
put them
much
in
of
your
a commitment.
wills. Or that might
Like,
be
yeah,
like a-
exactly. Like the parrot. Like, yeah, exactly. The parrot's gonna outlive you.
It's a 2-owner pet. You don't
Fuck
want that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. If you're going to smuggle drugs in your car, what are some of the things that you would probably absolutely not do?
Drink and drive.
Play loud music, speed.
Right. Have expired tags,
Yeah.
broken headlights, anything that would
right.
give police a bullshit reason to pull you over, right? Exactly. Well, one woman, 27-year-old Elizabeth Espinosa of Ruskin, Florida, was not that smart and decided she was going to smuggle drugs in a car with questionably legal tint.
So way
And
too much tint.
Way too much tint. Highly illegal tint.
Yeah.
And boy, did that fuck her. So cops
Why
pulled
didn't
her
you just
over
drive at night?
because she's not smart, Will.
By,
It's
by
too
the,
tinted.
by the way, I'm gonna throw in my
Too tinted
I'm
for
gonna,
the
I'm
night.
gonna throw in my Florida card here. I've driven around in Florida, and my wife's been like, "Ooh, that's too much tint," and she knows like Florida allows a good amount of tint, is what I'm getting at. So she had a lot of tint.
I would imagine it's a hot
Florida's
state,
a
yeah.
tinted up state.
Right, a little suspicious.
Sunshine State.
Yeah.
So cops pulled her over on the highway because of the tint, and she started acting like she was hiding 26 pounds of cocaine in her car. And that's because she fucking was. Cocaine worth $1.2 million, which is now in the custody of the Sumter County Highway Patrol. And Espinoza is now in the custody of a Sumter County jail before she inevitably is in the custody of a Florida prison for drug trafficking.
She thought that the tint would save her.
That's dumb.
No, it's just a
a
story about an
thing.
idiot who
People involved in
makes her more
drugs.
comfortable.
They want cool shit on
They
their
can't
car.
see her
Right.
sweating.
It's like putting a marijuana leaf on the back on your window in the back, and then the cops
And
pull you up for
transporting
that.
marijuana.
Wait. You're claiming a dark tint is like having a weed leaf
I'm
like
saying
logo?
it's stupid if you're going to smuggle drugs in a car. Don't have anything remotely illegal or that would cause a cop to pull you over
I
for
think-
any reason.
Okay, I hear you there, yeah.
I think it's a false sense of security for her drug smuggling, but
Maybe.
The tint? How could a tint save you? It's a
They
tint.
can't see in there, Will.
no one can see her.
Can't
She
see in there. Can't
She
see.
wants to be cool.
If you can't see the cocaine, it don't exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right, and then another story of bad girls who like cocaine from Florida. A Florida woman, Serena Probus, was arrested by police 30 minutes after she rang in the new year with relatives, then tried to drive home with her 6-month-old baby. When officers arrived to the house, she turned into an animal, cursing at the officers and trying to kick out the patrol car window. Then after she was restrained hogtie style, she reportedly tried to pee on them and then
Holy
spit on them
shit.
once she was in the car.
Did she have her pants on? Because otherwise, she's just pissing herself.
Well, eventually it
Yeah.
drips down and you can shake at them.
Also, the way that you described that, you could definitely sell that footage to like a porn company.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah. She's
hog
tied up.
tied and the
Yeah.
pee. Like somebody's
Uniforms.
buying that.
Yeah. Cuffs.
What kind
It's
of
real?
Porn,
Will's on a weird kick today, man.
Yeah.
What kind of porn are you
I'm
talking
telling you.
I was like, I don't know. Just
Dark
There's-
sexual
There's,
haunting
there's,
porn.
there's people with fetishes out there.
Cops,
What I'm saying is,
hot messes.
haunting porn.
.com. What are you talking about?
So
I'm saying, yeah, hogtie.com or whatever. Yeah,
There's only one way out of this.
Will's
Get,
got
a,
his
get a wet wipe.
Will's got his bow tie on over there. So it gets worse for her. While in jail, she was also charged from an incident stemming back from October when she hit a man she had been in an argument with her BMW on purpose. But the woman, deciding to use her old standby excuse that has worked great in the past, told officers she was far too high on cocaine to remember hitting the man, even though she dropped him at the hospital after hitting him and sent him a text that said,
Tell Detective Murphy I hit you with the car. I'ma tell her you deserved it, and I would do it again, all over again if I could.
Yeah, in her case, BMW stands for Better Move. Wham!
yeah. So,
She uses the cocaine excuse for lost memory every time.
yeah. So this is one of those women that police say shit like, all right, Serena, what's going on now? You going to play nice tonight, when they arrive at her scenes that she causes weekly. Anyway, she's being charged with felony battery of an officer and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So they will get a break from old Serena for a while, it seems.
Let's get her on a porn.
Yeah.
yeah, guys. Serena could use the proceeds from what I'm talking about.
Jesus. If there's one thing that you need to know, guys, about Florida woman Joanne Mercator, it's that she does not like people knocking on her door. It drives her crazy.
I hate that shit too.
Yeah, who doesn't?
I'm with Joanne. I'm with the chicken nugget lady. The first one, not the manatee one.
Well,
give me the sauce.
Apparently, guys, Mercator didn't disclose her distaste for visitors on her rental application because her 65-year-old landlord had to learn about her pet peeve the hard way last week when she knocked on Mercator's door to do some repairs on her trailer. Repairs she'd prearranged. At first, no one answered the first knock, but still, the landlord persisted, which was a big mistake because before she knew it, the landlord was covered with the contents of a bucket of Joanne's personal feces.
So she'd been reading the news.
She'd been reading the news. She got a bucket of shit thrown at her.
She'd been reading the news, and she thought, this is exactly how I can get back at telemarketers or whoever's coming to my door.
Yeah, she'd been
Solicitors.
so she bought a bucket, started shitting in it,
Right.
and waited for a knock.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
a classic open and shut case of assault with a bucket of human feces, right?
Yeah, that's
Sounds
it.
like
Well, not quite, guys, because when police arrived at the scene, the plot thickened. They found not one, but 2 women draped in human excrement.
What?
The landlord, who was, quote, soaked, and a distraught Joanne Mercator, who was also covered in shit, mainly concentrated in her face.
The lady who threw the shit was also covered in shit?
Well, at this point, the police didn't know. They got 2 ladies covered in shit.
But I know.
Well-
Joanne, who threw the shit, was covered in shit as well.
Well, Mercator told police that it was her landlord who created this whole shitty situation.
Uh-huh.
But you got to get up pretty early to fool the men and women in blue at the Valiza County Police Department, because through some shrewd detective work, the lead officer was able to root out that it was Mercator that had been the aggressor. See, the officer noted that the feces on Mercator's face were dried, whereas the shit on the landlord was soaking wet. So it turns out that in an effort to make it seem like she was the victim in the situation, Mercator rubbed her own shit all over her
Wait,
face.
so she'd been waiting for a while in her house with
Covered in shit.
It's also a potential situation.
waiting for.
No.
Well, why was it dry then?
Because it's
Because
less.
she didn't want to do the liquid on her.
Because it's less. Because she just
It's
grabbed
less.
the-
It's less disgusting to do.
I thought she knew the knock was coming.
the edge of the box, the edge of the bucket,
This
which
is
has
the-
some hardened stuff.
This is the best fucking police body cam video I've ever seen in my life. That's awesome. This woman is standing at a distance, just covered in fucking shit.
She looks like the ultimate warrior with poop as the face paint.
Yeah,
That's
it's
horrible.
crazy. Once she threw, when she realized that her story was flushed, she changed her story, telling police that she meant to throw a bucket of water at her landlord, but she got the 2 buckets confused.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that's why she decided to rub the shit on her face too.
I
we
keep
play-
my
we play-
bucket of
Yeah,
shit. Next to my bucket of water.
She had that shit on
Here's
her,
a bit of
on
the
her face
clip.
for hours.
All right.
Oh my god.
Wow.
All
Okay,
right.
guys, there was a debate on who smeared or threw poop on who, and there's another debate coming up, too, this Tuesday. That's right, another Democratic debate. And the best way to enjoy a political debate is to bet on it.
goddamn right.
And in order to do that, you need to sign up for the totally legal in all 50 states Predict It at www.predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20, where you'll get a free $20, no strings attached, no rollovers, no betting minimums or maxes if you deposit at least $20. So you throw $20 in there, we'll match that 20, give you a free 20. So let's talk about the markets we know about so far for the debates. One of them is going to be least speaking time. So which candidate speaks the least amount of time?
Yang's out, buddy.
Yeah, Yang's out, bro.
Yang's not in this debate.
There's
He
five-
didn't
there's
qualify.
5 people.
It's Biden, Sanders, Warren, Buttigieg, and I think Klobuchar.
Yep, that's correct.
Definitely Klobuchar.
Yeah. So
Klobuchar.
Yang and Steyer were close. They would need a miracle on today. Today is January 9th or 10th. They need to qualify by January 10th, and they're not going to. They need multiple polls, both Yang and Steyer, at 5% or at 7%. State, local polls, early polls, or national polls.
Oh, they're not going to get that. Yang will no way get
no,
7%.
they're both like 2 cents yes and 98 cents no one predicted. They're not making it.
So we got
it's not-
that, and we got most speaking time. Tune into the debates. We're going to do a live debate show, as we always
least
do.
speaking time, I think probably Buttigieg or Klobuchar.
Yeah,
Klobuchar, yeah.
It's gonna be tough to say. But we'll check the New York Times polls and see who had least and most.
Give that URL one more time.
Yeah, it's www.predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20. Get a free 20 and gamble on the news.
And there's gonna be a lot more markets coming out for the debates. Yeah, we'll tell you about them early next week. You got to get in now because the debates are coming.
In
Lots of fun.
now. Very fun. We're making money. My stocks are up. All right. Finally, President Trump may have met his match this time in the form of South Florida man Chauncey Lump.
Love that name.
Mr. Lump took to Facebook Live under the screen name
Mr. Lump.
Black Man vs. America on January 3rd. That was the same day that General Soleimani was killed. And he wanted to send a message to President Trump, our commander-in-chief. Lump, 26, was dressed in a towel intended to look like a turban on his head.
Okay.
And a shower curtain wrapped around his person, his body, and then shaving cream or whipped cream, white cream applied to his face in whiteface. So he was clearly a Justin Trudeau fan, trying to just.
Was it like Noxema?
No, it was like he got pied. Like he got pied. in the face.
Was he maybe just doing some self-care and then decided to go live? Was it definitely?
No,
No, he was in
doesn't
whiteface on
sound like
purpose.
it, yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't do a lot of self-care.
Yeah.
Because you've got a towel on his head, which sometimes people do when
You
they
don't
get
hear
out of the
about a
shower.
lot. You don't hear about a lot of whiteface.
No, yeah, it's not popular.
No, it's not that cool.
Yeah, this is like one of the rare ones.
Right.
Anyhow, he was also holding a
Blackface
loaded.
is not that cool either, but
No
yeah.
faces, really. Just
Right.
be the face that you are.
Right.
Yeah. Let's put that on a shirt.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
colored,
I'm sorry, you were saying.
No colored faces are cool.
There you go. Anyways, this guy was also holding a loaded AK-47 and claiming that he would kill Donald Trump in revenge for Soleimani and or destroy Broward County, Florida, wholesale. So he's in jail now for making threats against the president and also his home county, Broward County. He claimed he was joking, though, and based on how shitty his costume was, I would believe he probably was. What do you
Yeah,
guys
it sounds
think?
like he was filming like a sketch comedy thing.
It was the real Russian-made assault rifle that really probably made
I
it.
think you're right.
Yeah, that's what sets it over the edge from a
Yeah.
joke to a threat.
Also,
Agree with
Pro
the,
tip.
the show has been very funny and just fell off a cliff with the white and blackface stuff. But you mentioned Trudeau. Trudeau came out today, and to keep it on a down note, says that Iran definitely shot down the plane.
Yes.
He says
Possibly by accident.
no, yeah, but he said they shot it with a missile.
Well, there's a video of it
There's a video.
apparently being hit by a
So-
missile.
yeah,
So,
Yeah. So
Iran might be in some trouble.
Ended it on a shitty note.
yeah.
There's Trudeau. Just, he's slamming his nose in here into Florida Man Friday. He likes to get some attention. He does. And that's going to do it for Hard Factor this week. We fucking love all of you for listening, checking out our blogs, videos, everything that we're putting out. Hope you'll join us again next week and next Tuesday for a little Democratic debate watch party. But most importantly, have a great fucking weekend and go Tigers.